got it. Oh. Thank you for waiting for us. Welcome to dinner at your table with ZeetheCook. This is my third episode. I'm really excited for today because I have a very special guest. My special guest today is my husband, Zee Shami. Come on over, Zee. Come join us.
Hi everyone.
Shammy's here today because my husband has a background in the health administration. He's a director of nursing and also a nursing clinical instructor. Shammy's going to be explaining the special ingredients we'll be using in the chicken vegetable soup we'll be making today. I decided to do chicken vegetable soup because the weather is changing so rapidly. It's kind of, it's so cold out. Everyone's been asking me for my soup recipes. So I'm really excited to share that with you today and hopefully cure some of your colds, some of your flus, and Shani will be explaining all the health benefits of each ingredient today, which will help better explain why the soup is so magical. We need to start you off with the apron though, so let me grab his apron. Here we go. His apron. We're so excited. So the first thing I wanted to say is today I actually made the chicken vegetable soup for my family so that I can actually sample it with you since it does take about 45 minutes on the stove. So I do have that sample ready. I'll go ahead and explain how we make the delicious chicken broth. Chicken broth is made by using, any kind of chicken on the bone, or you can also use boneless chicken breast. This is after it's been cooked already, and I really just wanted to show you what the ingredients look like before and after you boil them in with the chicken. So before we peel those off, we're gonna go ahead and explain each ingredient over here. Shadi is gonna go ahead and help us out with the bay leaves first. We have these bay leaves right here. These bay leaves are used mostly in stews, soups. You can use them in even like a special rice if you were making like rice with beef, for example. And what are the health benefits of the bay leaves, Shadi?
So bay leaves are actually really good for body aches, so joint pain.
Nice.
They also aid in diabetes. They do also decrease stress hormones in the body, and they do have antibacterial and antifungal properties as well.
Yep, they're really, really great. And you're supposed to take it out of the soup right before you enjoy eating it, or any kind of stew that you're using. And then right here we have our cinnamon sticks. The only amount of cinnamon sticks you need in your soup is something this small, okay? If you use a whole stick in your soup, it's going to turn your soup bitter. So you really want to use just a little bit. And the health benefits of the cinnamon stick?
Yeah, so cinnamon actually is very good for regulating your blood sugar. It actually imitates insulin and helps bring blood sugars down. It also helps decrease the risks of heart disease. And there is some that say that it also helps fight against the Alzheimer's disease.
Ooh, so this is amazing. Cinnamon sticks, you use it in so many foods, so many different drinks as well. It releases amazing benefits into your liquids, and this is what it looks like after it's been boiled. So it opens up. So right here, if you can tell, it's closed, and then it opens up, and look at the color change between the two. It's already released everything it needed to from here in order for the chicken broth to be effective. And then we have our cardamom. This smells amazing, by the way. Go ahead.
Cardamom. So cardamom is really good for decreasing your blood pressure. It acts like a diuretic, so it helps you get some of that water weight off. It also has cancer-fighting properties. It actually works well against bad breath as well. And something cool about cardamom is that it helps with nausea, vomiting, and hiccups.
So look at the inside of this. It has the seeds inside. So what happens? It breaks open, or even it gets even larger and bigger inside of your. This is how it looks after. So before and after, and look how much easier it is now to open. It's very soft. Everything, even the flavor has released out of it. The scent is amazing. The kitchen will smell beautiful. Your whole house will smell wonderful. And then we have right here our cloves. And again, these cloves are wonderful for your health.
Yeah, cloves actually they provide immunosupport. They have anti-inflammatory properties. It also helps with motion sickness. It treats motion sickness. It also reduces your blood sugar. It's very flavorful.
Yep,
and
you can put it.
One of the nice things about this is if you do have a congested chest and you have a productive cough, cloves actually help bring up all that phlegm and get it out of your system. And another thing which I really love is it helps repel against mosquitoes.
So yeah, you have mosquitoes in the room, you can pour this into like a tea kettle, boil that water, let it release the aroma and the smell. It's gonna get those mosquitoes out of your room. So yeah, not only does it affect the health system, your body, but it prevents those mosquitoes from bugging you. And then we also have an amazing onion. I'm sure all of you know how beneficial onions are. They really, really are a great antibiotic. They are good at fighting. What else? What else? Tell everyone.
They do. They have cancer-fighting properties. They also are good for asthma. So that's one of the things that's really good for when you're sick. Is it's got this anti-inflammatory and antihistamine in your chest, and then it also helps bring your blood sugar down, and it's got good properties for your heart and your eyesight.
I know a lot of people don't like onions. Like Afaf, she was our guest last week. I know a lot of people don't like onions, but again, onions are really beneficial for you. They make you, you don't realize it, but they actually work really well in your benefit. It makes you feel better. Even it helps you sleep better at night as well.
Yeah, it absorbs bacteria as well.
And it absorbs any bacteria in your system, so you really want to try to use onion in your food. It's really, really good. So in our broth, just so we can kind of recap, we have our recipe at ZeetheCook.com. Again, the website is thecompany.com, and we throw in the chicken leg quarter on the bone into the pot with the water. We throw in the bay leaves like we discussed. We throw in the cardamom, like just chew. You're not putting a lot, by the way, okay? So the recipe will tell you, just chew them. So 2 cardamom, 2 cloves, a little stick of cinnamon, not even half, I mean, yeah, a little bit less than half a stick actually. And you're also going to throw in the onion, so slice an onion right in half and just throw it in as is. You can even leave the skin on, it's fine too. And then if you want to, it's optional, but you could use some celery leaves to throw into your pot. And they also release a lot of great minerals and vitamins, and it's also release an amazing flavor to your broth. Now, are you going to be keeping all these in your soup? No, the answer is no. What you do is, once your pot is full of the water with the chicken and it's come to a boil and now you've created your chicken broth, you're gonna go ahead and pour all the liquid into a strainer, and make sure you have another soup pot right underneath, so not a bowl like this, but an actual pot. And when you throw everything in here, it's gonna catch all those ingredients we just discussed, and you're left with this chicken. So we're actually gonna put our gloves on right now, and we're going to show you how to pick that chicken meat off the bones. And we are not gonna be putting back any of the ingredients into the broth. I'm actually gonna show everyone the broth, how it looks from earlier today after I boiled this chicken right here. So you can see the color of the broth and the thickness of it. It's really, really delicious. The only thing I do add back into my soup while the vegetables are boiling, which we'll get to in a little bit, is a little bit more cinnamon. So again, I would probably go with another, even half of this one. I would probably crack this one a little bit smaller, and I would just throw in, and they're not really that hard to break unless you're stuck with like a really hard one. Crack out everything. Yeah, some are easier than others, and then this also has 2 loops, and you can like crack this in half, which I can't even do right now. But anyways, later on you can throw it in, but of course, before you serve it to your family, before you give it to your kids, try to get that cinnamon stick out so nobody gets stuck in their mouth, right? So okay, we're gonna go ahead here. You take this chicken, you take both.
All right.
I'll work on this one.
Just taking off the skin.
So yeah, we're just actually going to, this is cooked chicken by the way. We're using gloves for cleanliness, but there's no effect of, you know, this cooked chicken on anything else. So we're just gonna go ahead and take that skin off. And you're gonna try your best not to break apart that chicken into small pieces. Try to keep them nice and large, because once they go into the soup, they'll shrink a little bit themselves, you know? So you don't want your members or your guests to end up with any, or to end up with tiny little pieces. Keep them nice and on the larger end. No, that's fine.
That's good size?
Yeah, that's a good size, because eventually you really want to feel that wholesomeness of your soup. So the more vegetables and chicken we have, I guess you can use it as a meal instead of just a side dish.
It's a very filling meal.
Yeah, it's a very fulfilling meal. Shadi's favorite is chicken lemon rice, which I'm sure many of you love so much. I'm not gonna lie, the reason I didn't do that one today is only because this one is the medicine soup, okay? It's known as the medicine soup. And I wanted to share it because a lot of my followers have been inboxing me saying, please Zee, share this chicken and vegetable soup that you've made so many times. You know, my son has a flu and it would really help him. Today people were asking me if I was selling it today because they see me recording it and they see me making it today. So I will try to sell it soon so all of you can try to enjoy it if you're too busy to make it at home. But again, it's not hard to make. It actually just takes a nice hour, you know, and a half total. So if you can just prep everything in advance and just put it all together and saute it, it would be great. So as you can tell, I'm left here with my bones. The bones also, of course, from the chicken, this protein, they release the wonderful vitamins from the chicken. So you can, so now we're gonna discard all this. The bones, unless you have like an animal in your garage that you want to share this with. God knows, whatever, who knows. But you know, you will discard all the ingredients that we're boiling together. Look, I even found a clove in here, and the clove was boiled. It's done. I don't need it anymore. Okay, so that created my broth. Now I have the chicken. Okay, everyone. So after we get the chicken, a big question a lot of people have asked me: do we cook the chicken? Do we cook the chicken meat with the vegetables in the soup right away? The answer is no, you don't. You throw this cooked chicken in like the last 7 minutes of your soup. You don't want it to overcook. You just want it to be nice and soft and crisp towards the end of your soup. So once you do that, you can set your chicken aside and then get straight to your vegetables. So now we're gonna take off our gloves and we're gonna grab these vegetables. The vegetables I like using because they have great health benefits as well are carrots and celery. So we're gonna go ahead and make these into really small cubes, because when you or your kids are eating the soup, you do not want it to be a chunky soup. You just want it to be very subtle. You want to get more of that broth than the actual vegetable.
Walk me through what you're doing.
Shadi gets to eat all the food. He doesn't normally cook the food. So today we're hoping that he can learn a little bit. Maybe he'll make me some soup. See, moms are not allowed to get sick, right guys? If mom gets sick, oh my God, it's like the end of the world.
It's the end of the world.
So if I could just prepare him and get him to make a soup, at least I can allow myself to get sick once in a while.
This soup seems like just basic ingredients. It doesn't look like there's anything complicated.
Nothing complicated. No, not complicated. Like I could easily put in some zucchini, you know, and like all these different vegetables, but you know what? Sometimes less is more. You don't have to complicate it. So we're just gonna go ahead and slice and then chop the vegetables. Very good. Yes. Shadi's good at everything he does. Thank God. That's why I married him. Can you say the same about me? Okay, after you chop all your vegetables, you got this nice, beautiful color. You got a great flavor coming out of them. The smell is amazing, of course. Okay, everyone, let's talk about these potatoes really quick. I don't want to run out of time. These potatoes are going to go into your soup after you've cooked the vegetables and threw them into the pot. So these potatoes are good because if you accidentally put a little bit of too much salt, it's gonna absorb that salt for you, and it's also gonna give your soup an amazing flavor. My kids love it because they love the soup because of the potatoes. So don't forget about your potatoes. We're also gonna throw in some rice, just a little bit, like a handful of rice, just to give it that nice soft thickness. Everyone asks me, where does that color come from in your soup? It comes from the vermicelli, it comes from the rice, and it comes from a little bit of this vegeta. So this is the seasoning I use, is the vegeta. And I also add in 1 more cube of Maggi chicken broth because a lot of the water from the broth, while it's boiling, it absorbs. So we need to add another 1.5 cups of water to the pot, and we want to keep it nice and thick. You do not want your soup to be too thin. Okay, so along the way, if you guys have any questions, please let me know. We're actually gonna go and cook this on the skillet so I can show you what we do when we cook this. And we're gonna be cooking the carrots, celery, the vermicelli, and that's it. And actually we can even add a little bit of the rice. We can allow it to kind of toast a little bit. So I'm gonna actually pour this on here, and I'll even allow it to kind of cook a little bit, not too much. Are we missing anything? Nope, we are good to go. All right, so we'll actually just take this with us. And that's it.
You're gonna cook this?
We're gonna go cook this on the skillet together, so I can show everyone when do we add the vegetables and when do we add the chicken. So you can go ahead and add a little bit of oil, or you can add some Pam spray. I'm not gonna add too much oil. My family does not like the flavor of the oil in my soup. So you can actually grab some Pam spray, throw it in here, because we're just gonna be sauteing these vegetables before we throw them into the pot to boil. So I'm gonna show you the broth that I had over here earlier. So right here, we're gonna go ahead, and you can put your heat on high and just throw the vegetables in. Just like this. I'm not gonna throw the rice in right now, but I will eventually throw the rice in. And then we're also going to go ahead and season the vegetables after we start cooking it a little bit. So you don't have to put too much. You want the soup to be a soup, right? You don't want it to be a stew. So we're just gonna go ahead and cook this together. And Shadi, will you do me the honors? You just smash that right on top of the vegetables. Perfect. So this is like a noodle, so it takes the place of a thicker noodle. If you wanted to add noodles to your chicken vegetable soup, you can add it at the very end, just like the chicken. You would add it at the very end because you do not want those noodles to overcook. Here you go. So we're just gonna cook this together. See that beautiful color, and that celery is really nice. It smells amazing.
It does smell really good.
Yeah, it already smells so good.
So how long does this cook for?
This is gonna cook for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want it to overcook. Just gives it a little bit of that crisp, that you know, a little bit of that softness because it's so hard. And then once you throw it into the pot, you allow it to boil together. A lot of people have asked, like, how do you know when the soup is ready?
Yeah. Because
we're putting in a raw potato, you'll know it's ready when the potato is soft. So it takes the potato a little bit of time to soften. So once the potato's in there, you'll know that the rest of your vegetables have cooked really well. So if you guys want to actually zoom in here and see the noodles are cooking. They're becoming a little bit brown. Yep. And we don't really want them to burn. So at this point, what you can do is probably just add a tiny bit of oil. Give it a little bit more to work with.
You normally keep it on high heat the whole time, or do you lower it?
You could lower it. I mean, you can lower it a little bit, and then I'm not going to put a fan on this time because I want everyone to be able to hear me. Here's that rice I was telling everyone about. You can throw that in now. And give it a little mix. It's going to give it a smoky flavor, which is so delicious. I was kind of afraid. I usually don't do that. I usually put the rice directly into the pot with the potatoes. But today I actually cooked it in the skillet with the vegetables, and it came out amazing. It was really good.
It smells great right now.
Yeah, so good. So right now, while they're cooking, we're gonna throw in that vegeta I told everyone about. All right, everybody, vegeta. I'm gonna show you what it looks like. You can get a low sodium one, non-GMO. This one has a lot of salt in it, so we're not really gonna add too much salt. Maybe just like a sprinkle to the vegetables, okay? So just a sprinkle of salt and a tiny bit of pepper also. You can get a little bit of salt in here and just a little bit of pepper, like this, a sprinkle. So you're just kind of winging it, right? We're giving it all that flavor, perfect. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead, while Shadi is taking care of this vegetables right now, I'm gonna go ahead and grab that, what am I grabbing? The potatoes? The potatoes, yeah. I'm gonna grab the potatoes. I'll be right back, guys.
You have to keep actively mixing this, or do you let it sit here for a while?
You can let it sit if you put enough oil, but because we're not putting a lot of oil today, I would not leave it because you don't want it to burn, you know? So guys, the potato, we're just gonna take that skin off. Don't do this at home if you're not good at peeling.
Do not try this at home.
Do not try this at home if you're not good at peeling a potato this way.
You can use a peeler. We have a peeler too.
We have a peeler. This is faster for me. So we got our potato, give it a little wash. Okay, we're gonna come back here so we can turn that heat down, if you don't mind. We're gonna slice that potato, slice it, and then dice it into little cubes. Perfect. Just like that. And you do not need to season these potatoes. You don't need to really do anything to them. There we go. All right, that's it. So now, this is how the vegetables look. We're about to throw them into the broth. Okay guys, this is where it gets really easy, okay? You can do this at home. We have our broth. It was refrigerated a little bit earlier because I boiled the chicken in here. But you can go ahead and grab those vegetables and throw them right in. Remember I told you that when we boil the chicken, we lose a lot of that water. So what we're gonna do is add some water. Will you measure, I'll say a cup and a half of cold water. So we are going to measure a cup and a half of cold water and just throw that right in here. We're gonna put this on high heat. We want it to come to a boil, and then we'll lower it back to medium heat, and we'll throw in the potato, okay? So yeah, so if anyone has any questions, go ahead and ask us. We're here to help and assist you guys. Can we get one more? One more.
Another
yeah, one more. So guys, at this point, because we're adding more water to the chicken broth, that thick, you know, homemade chicken broth, this is when we can add the Maggi cube in here. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab that Maggi cube and throw it right in here of the chicken broth. So now we have more liquid for our soup. We are ready to throw that in there, and then we're gonna throw in the potatoes.
One of the good things is if you're sick, it's really cool if you're making it because the smell, the vapor that comes out of the soup is actually really good for people that are sick. It kind of opens up your nose.
Yes. All right, so here we go. Sorry, I'm gonna push you. This is my kitchen. All right, so we got our cube. You can just break it in half, throw it right in. It's gonna melt right. So what that cube does, it replaces chicken broth. So let's say you did not make a homemade chicken broth. Instead of adding 1 cube, you would add like 2 cubes, like maybe even 3 sometimes. You know, you would just keep tasting and see what works best for you. But because I made the homemade broth, I'm just adding 1 in addition to what I already had, so we can really keep that flavor going and make sure it's really delicious. I'm gonna warm up the soup that I made about 2 hours ago so I can show you exactly how the finishing product is. But at this point, we're gonna allow this to come to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, we'll go ahead and put the heat on medium, and then we'll throw in these potatoes and allow this to cook slowly on medium heat until you can grab a fork, throw the fork in there, and once this potato feels soft to you, you're good. You can throw in the chicken and let everything cook together for like another maybe 7 minutes, and then you're good to go. And then you can just taste it as you go and see what you need. For the full recipe and more details in case we missed anything, please make sure you visit my website, go to the recipe, search chicken vegetable soup, well actually I think I called it ZeetheCook chicken soup for the soul. So yeah, it's called ZeetheCook soup for the soul. So it is, it's for the soul, right?
It really is.
When he's sick, the first thing that comes to mind is, oh my God, I need to make soup, right? Anytime somebody in your family is sick, the first thing is we need to cook something from our heart, you know? I mean, it is easy to go to a restaurant and pick up some soup, but to make it yourself and make it for the person you love, there's nothing like that. Or you can get it from me. I mean, no restaurants, only ZeetheCook. That's fine, okay? So me or you, that's it. No other person. When someone is sick in your house, of course. Because you just never know where it's coming from. If it's coming from a can, I don't feel like it's going to be beneficial to your sick family member. You need it to come from the heart, and everyone knows I cook with my heart, and I'll do that for your family member as if they're my own. So you just throw those potatoes right in the soup. All these vegetables, look how beautiful this already looks. See, once the broth melted, because it was already cold, look how beautiful that color is. So delicious. Are you gonna be my taste tester right here?
I will.
Okay, good. So here's our soup. You know what we need to do is, will you chop some parsley?
Yeah.
Yeah, that parsley in that bowl. So you can garnish with parsley, the very end. Fresh parsley is the best. It does give it a different flavor, by the way. So if you taste it along the way, you'll say, this tastes good. But once you throw that fresh parsley in, everything tastes a trillion times better. So do not forget the fresh parsley at the end. You just have to chop it. And this is how it actually will look right here. So here, this is how it looks right now while it's still cooking. Really, really good. I'm telling you, this is the best medicine for anyone who might be getting sick or wants to prevent getting sick. And then here we are, it's boiling with the chicken and with the parsley. So if everyone can look at this delicious soup. See how we kept the chicken size still big. It's not too tiny. It's like that perfect size. So it's wholesome. It's not just water. You're not just drinking water, soup water, right? You're eating something. You're feeling that nutritional value coming from it. It's really delicious. If anyone has any questions again, please feel free to ask. I'm telling you, today I had like 4 or 5 people say, are you selling it today? Are you selling it today? So I think with this weather getting colder, I should be making this a lot more. I mean, for my family, I know I make it almost every day. So again, you just chop up the parsley and you'll just drizzle it at the end after you put your soup. I'm doing all this because I can right now. I'm skipping steps because I know how to fix it. So just make sure go to the website, make sure you follow it step by step, read the whole recipe before you begin. So you make sure you're not missing anything, and that way you'll enjoy it a lot more. There are people who make chicken soup without adding the cardamom or the cloves or, you know, the other ingredients I mentioned. Everyone makes it their own way. The reason I make it with all those ingredients is because, again, the nutritional value that they offer. That's the real thing, you know. So here we go. It's boiling. We're about to show everyone. How are we on time? Are we 3 minutes left? Oh, perfect. So we are good. All right, I'm gonna grab a soup bowl.
So Zee, what about people that are diabetic? Just coming from healthcare, I know that some of these ingredients, like the potato, has a lot of carbohydrates in it. So we would just do half that portion on the recipe, or is it?
Yeah, you can actually half the portion, and you can omit a specific vegetable. For example, if you were doing like a keto diet, you know, keto guidelines, for example, no carrots. So you can put zucchini in place of the carrots, right? So any vegetable you love, any vegetable that you feel works for you or your family, you know. For me, growing up, it's always been celery, carrots, and a little bit of potatoes, you know. So this is what works for me, and you can always find out what works for you. So here we go. We have our delicious soup. I'm gonna go ahead and pour it right here. It's so amazing. It smells great, and it tastes even better. You can go ahead and garnish a little bit at the end, and you can even get a few, I know this sounds weird, but I've tried it and it's so good. Like slice a tiny bit of tomatoes and just like throw them. I know a lot of you don't like tomatoes, but they're amazing too. I just put them at the very end. It gives it a beautiful color and a beautiful flavor. All right, so we're gonna take this back over there. Is that okay? We're gonna take this back over there, right next to all of our ingredients, because my husband loves soup with a squeeze of lemon. So we're gonna put a squeeze of lemon right over here. You can do the honors. We're gonna squeeze some lemon right over here. Perfect. And it's gonna be so delicious. And if you guys do have any questions or you want me to choose a specific food for the upcoming weeks, please let me know. You can inbox me or leave me a comment.
I have a question.
Sure.
Since you guys are a couple, how is it the life of a couple?
Yeah.
Two full-time working parents. How does it work?
It's busy. It's very busy.
We are so busy. You know?
Tell our viewers, how do you guys manage to do it?
I think a lot of it starts with just communication. We just gotta always know each other's schedules. We kind of plan ahead, and we have to make time for each other too. So every week, otherwise I think they go crazy. Just having 3 kids and both working, full time. I work full time during the week as a nursing director, and then I'm also teaching clinical on the weekends. And Zee just has a 24/7 schedule. For those of you that know that when you reached out to her, whether it was Sunday at 11 p.m. or Monday morning, she's answering you immediately. So
yeah, he's saying communication, and the thing is, like, I communicate with Shami in my mind all the time, and then I tell him at 6 p.m. as if he should have known all day what I should be doing, and then I say, but and he says, oh, I have no idea what you're talking about, and then I realize I didn't actually talk to him, it was all mental. But, yeah. So yeah, we do our best. That's all we could do is do our best. We're always there for each other. We spend time together every evening when the kids go to sleep. That's the best thing you could do, is reserve that time together, watching shows, just catching up, just trying to...
Yeah, work-life balance. You have to have some type of balance.
Yeah. So it's crazy, but it's good. Yeah.
Have you guys cooked before together, or this is the first time?
This is our actual official first time cooking together. Let's be real. Let's be real. I cook, he eats. I cook, he eats. I swear, that's how it is. So it is our official first time cooking together. Good job. I'm proud of you. Yay. Okay, he's gonna taste it, guys. He's gonna taste it. It's so hot. I love it hot, but
what I like about this too is like the next day, it's even better.
Oh,
it's like chili.
It's like
it just
chili.
gets better with each day.
It gets better, exactly, each day. So good.
Yeah. Perfect amount of lemon.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, again, cook with your heart, everybody. Whatever you make, thank you. It's so good. And very hot. I like it hot, but that is very hot.
Very hot.
Did you burn your tongue?
I didn't.
I wish I could share this with all of you. At least I got to share the recipe. I wish I can share the flavor. It's so delicious. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Make sure you're always supporting your spouse no matter what they do, because if your spouse is happy, I promise you'll be happy. Honestly, at the end of the day, it's support. He supports me, I support him. And sharing whatever concerns we might have with each other and listening before we speak, that's something I've had to work on because all I do is talk. So sometimes I have to remind myself that if he's sharing a story, I shouldn't just give advice. He's not asking for advice, he just wants to share. So again, learn as you go and just work together as a team, right? Yeah, so thank God.
What's your favorite dish from Zee?
My favorite dish from her is her eggplant parmesan.
It's my signature dish.
Amazing. You gotta do that on one of these shows.
Oh yeah.
I'll be here for that one too.
Oh, okay. He'll be here for that one, eating in the background. The sample. He eat the sample before I get a chance to show it. Yeah, that's my signature dish is his favorite one, my eggplant parmesan. I've had people who don't like eggplant become eggplant lovers because of that dish.
It's the way it's prepared.
Yeah,
it's so good.
It's really
and
good.
Believe it or not, she didn't crack an egg before we got married.
Oh, that's another thing. So a lot of people think that this has been me this whole time, my whole life. That's not true. After I met Shami, I found this passion. So it's because of him that I am a chef. It's because of him that now I cook and I enjoy cooking. It all started with cooking with my heart for the man I love. So, again, everything in life is so unexpected. It happens when you least expect it. You just never know what's going to happen. And we moved into a house together, and that's when my whole life changed. So if you don't believe in love, believe in love. If you, all that good stuff, all that good advice we'll hear out there, the good quotes and everything else.
Zee, can you just remind our viewers what did you cook today and where they can find the recipe? And
sure.
What's the phone number for ZeetheCook?
Of
What do you guys
course.
do?
Yes, so really quick before we close, I can be reached at 313 anytime, 24/7. 313-414-2301. We host cooking classes, baking classes. We have our adults cooking class coming up this Saturday. We have 2 spots left. We have couples coming, friends coming. It's going to be a lot of fun. We also do the kids' Halloween classes coming up. and family events. Do not forget about the family events at the end of the month. I would love to have you and your kids come and spending quality time together. We're going to be making delicious tacos, and we're going to have a pumpkin painting and pumpkin carving event. So that's going to be a lot of fun. It's on our website. ZeetheCook.com is where you can purchase tickets, and you could also find all my recipes on there. You can find today's recipe, which on the website is called Chicken Soup for the Soul. And I hope you enjoy it.
Did you remind them what we cooked today?
What is it?
Did you remind them what we cooked today and where they can find the recipe?
Sure, I did. Yes.
You did?
Yes, I did. So again, we made the chicken vegetable soup. The recipe at ZeetheCook.com is called ZeetheCook Chicken Soup for the Soul. Smells so good.
Smells so good.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you
you
so much. See you next week at 7 p.m. Thanks. Thanks for joining me.